Okay, to get started on this one, make sure you take the omega out so that you guys can see what your phase shift is. The omega is that guy, the one that's multiplying to the x. So I'm going to get 3 sine, and I'm going to take that omega out, so I go 2. And then I get x because 2x divided by 2 is x. But what is that? What is pi over 2 divided by 2? Ooh. Some of you say 2. Remember, dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. You guys know that, yeah? Let's see. Pi over 2 divided by 2, which is the same as pi over 2 times 1 over 2. So what is it? Is it minus? Yeah, it's minus. Minus pi over 4. All right. Oh, and I forgot my minus 1. Okay. So now we can see what's going on very clearly. What is my amplitude?
3.
Because of that 3 right there, we know that our amplitude is 3. What's my period?
Pi.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Oh, you guys were able to do that in your head, no problem, eh? So what you do is you take 2 pi, which is the regular period, divide it by the omega, that's that food right there, and then you get pi. So our period is pi. Pi. Okay, next, what is my phase shift? It is pi over 4. Tell your neighbors why it is not negative pi over 4. Ready, set, go. So because our phase shift is pi over 4, that means the whole graph moves to the right, pi over 4, because it's a positive pi over 4. We're going to start our cheat graph at pi over 4. Ooh, I love you, cheat graph. Okay, but now, how do I count my next ones? What do I add to pi over 4 to get this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one? Whatever it is, this total distance has to be equal to pi, because that's the period. So what would I be adding to pi over 4? Anybody? 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 Let's see. What is pi divided by 4? Oh, yeah. Pi over 4. So, what is pi over 4 plus pi over 4? 2 pi over 4. And what is 2 pi over 4 plus pi over 4? 3 pi over 4. And then add pi over 4 again. 4 pi over 4. Again. 5 pi over 4. So we got all our x's. Now we're just chilling on our cheat graph right now. We haven't even stepped over to the scaled graph. But since we have a vertical shift, that minus 1 right there, we have to change our midline. Our midline is no longer the x-axis. What is it going to be? -1, because we're going to shift down 1. So if I count my numbers up, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3. If I count my numbers down, it'd be -2, -3, -4. Is that right? Yeah, and -5. So those are my x's, those are my y's. You'll pretend? Okay, so now we need to know our pattern. Our pattern of sine, a regular pattern of sine. Do you guys remember the pattern of sine? Yeah. Midline, max, midline, min, midline. So it goes something like that, but you would hit every point actually. Okay, so I'm going to start my midline. Boom. And then from this x value, I have to do my amplitude to the max. And what is my amplitude? 1, 2, 3. There is my max. And some of you guys are like, but it says 2. Don't forget, we shifted down 1. Okay, and then we go midline. And then we go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, now it's at 4. Remember, because our midline is at -1. And then we're back to midline. Shebang-a-dang. We connect to points. Oh, I missed that one, but oh well. Okay, now let's graph it. Now, when I graph it, I normally like to put my midline on first because I mess up. And I make mistakes very easily. So I'm going to put my midline right here. So, and then my first point is going to be at pi over 4, -1, right, on the midline. So since pi over 2 is right here, pi over 4 will be right in the middle. So I'm going to put a dot right there at pi over 4. Pi over 4, -1. That's what that point is, right? Right? Right. Okay, and this is, oh, I didn't simplify that. What is 2 pi over 4 equal to? Pi over 2. And this one simplifies to pi. Okay, so at pi over 2, where we at? We're at 2, right? So I'm all the way up here at 2. 1, 2, 3. That's right. Okay, we had an amplitude of 3. And then I hit 3 pi over 4, which is going to be back at my midline. That's in between pi over 2 and pi, right in the middle. And then we're when we hit pi, we're at our minimum, which is -4. That's -4, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. And then we go back to our midline right there.
If that's the minimum,
5 pi over 4. Cool. I know, it slowly comes to you. I know it takes a little bit of time. It's like, oh my gosh, it works. Okay, so there it is. Can you guys finish this graph since we're supposed to be graphing from 0 to 2 pi, says the directions? Yes, you can. This would be down to the minimum, and then we would go, we're at midline, then we go max, and then midline, and then min, shebang-a-dang-a-boo. All right, then we got our y-intercept, which is, what's our y-intercept? Fancy, it's different. What's our y-intercept? It is -4. And our x-intercepts, that's too hard. Nah. And then our max is going to be 2, and the minimum is going to be -4. Now, there is a way to find the x-intercepts, but it's kind of complicated because our x-axis is not our midline anymore. So we have to find that right there. Like, what the heck is that? And the way you would do that is really complicated and long, and we have to use inverses and stuff, and we're not going to do that right now. But no, I won't. So we have 3 sine. This is how you do it. I'm just saying. 2 times x minus pi over 4 minus 1 equals 0, and you'd have to solve for x. And whatever you get for x, those would be your x-intercepts. But we ain't going to do that right now. You would need a calculator for this. This one's not going to come out cleanly.